I've never been the one who's worried, always been the one who's keeping it cool. The kind of guy who chill while others hurry. I didn't know that I've been the fool. I've been telling lies about something real, but I know love is based on honesty. Kept thinking how real love should feel, knowing that it's not just you, it's me. Cause I was made to be free. I am made to be free.
So for those of you that know me, you know that the most common tool that I get out of a parts store is the caliper compression tool for the brakes, simply because I change brakes constantly. So I go in there and, like always, I asked the guy, God, these speed bumps. So I asked the guy for the compression tool and he's like, front or back? And I'm like, there's no such thing as a front or back, it's all one. He's like, I'm not sure about that. So he goes in and he's like, oh, okay, yeah, you're right. I'm like, yeah, I know, I only rent this thing every other week. So he finds it. And then every time I go in there, it's $55. It's never changed. And keep in mind that, like, once you return these, you get your money back. Well, I go give it to him, or he gives it to me, and he goes, check me out. And he's like, $175. I'm like, what? Like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, that's how much it is. I'm like, it's $55. He's like, not according to this, it shows $175. I get the money back, so I didn't really care. I'm just like, okay, whatever. So I just paid it, but I literally just paid $175 for a compression tool, when I typically paid $55. That's crazy. All right, so let me explain to you the current condition of the car. The car's been sitting here for the past week while we wait for the new brakes to come in from R1 Concepts, Heart Brakes, and it's been untouched. We just received the brakes yesterday. Please forgive me, but I unboxed them and I already started on the right side. Reason being is that I needed to get caught up. I'm behind on what I need to get done for this car by the time of the next event. So the right side is already about 50% done. The rotors are on, the calipers are back attached. All that's left to do is rewire the brake lines and put the caliper back on. Other than that, we are set. So I'm going to finalize this right side of the brakes, and then we'll pick up when we're on the left side in probably about 20 or 30 minutes. We'll see how good this right side goes. So the fronts are done now, thankfully. I'm just now working on the back and rewiring. This is the old wiring harness for the brake sensors, and look at this rear one. It's completely eaten through. This was just after one race in Pittsburgh that got this bad. So this is how I knew I needed new brakes. Like I said, front's done. All these go on as a wheel. Finishing up the right side of this back right now. I just got to rewire, and as soon as I'm done wiring, put on the brakes, and we'll get on to that left side. So far so good. Really no issues, just standard old shit parts. It just wouldn't be working on a car if something didn't go wrong. So update, we're about probably an hour since I've last talked to you. The rewiring happened, everything was done, everything's been perfect. I spent the last hour with the simplest possible thing you can do on a brake job. Trying to compress the piston back into the caliper. So I got my compression tool, and obviously all you do is you turn this, and with a little bit of torque, your piston goes back into your caliper and you can fit it over your new brakes. Well, I've been trying now nearly for an hour to simply compress this piston back into the caliper, and it won't work. Yes, the parking brake is off. I've got back into the car. I've tried to compress the brakes 3 or 4 times. Open it back up, close it back up, open it, close it. Still nothing. It's such a headache when the simplest things impede you from progress. And one of the things that I've gotten since I've been doing this stuff, it's always the simplest things go wrong, and I've never ever done a project on a car focus to where everything has always gone 100% right. Never. I always have an issue, and of course, this here is my issue. So I'm gonna get online, I guess, and do some more research, and we're gonna figure out where this goes from here. Let's do another update here. This is not how I intended this video to go. The right sides were supposed to be done within 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Move on to the left side, and then we'll go through with the video and continue the build and finish these brakes. But for the past 2 hours, I've been at a standstill. I'm really disappointed. The easiest part of the job is, as always, the hardest part. Finished the wiring. Wiring was so easy. Rotor done, caliper done, well, part of the caliper, and then, well, the caliper holder, and then go to the caliper, the simplest part, compress the piston back into the caliper to make room for the new brake pads, and absolutely will not budge. Really annoyed. I've been trying to do this now for nearly 2 hours. Obviously, new rotor looks great. Got part of the holder back on, great. And here's the problem. We got the caliper. It's fully retracted, or I don't want to say retracted. It's fully out, and no matter what, I cannot get it back in. I have the tool. This does not push in. You have to spin it in because it's the rear. The rears spin to retract, and the fronts push. This just will not go back in. The handbrake is off. The fluid reservoir is open. I have bled the brake out, and still not getting anywhere. So this is extremely disappointing, to say the least. I've actually got other things I've got to do today, so I actually sadly have to leave this just like this and move on to the next job for today. Not like I wanted this video to go, like I said. I'm sorry, but shit happens. And come back out here tomorrow and hopefully figure this out, and we'll go from there. Anyhow, we're not gonna let this beat us. I guess stay positive. Every car mod you ever do, every replacement part, every aftermarket part, you always have issues. That's been that way since day one. I've never ever done a perfect easy job. So we'll be fine. We'll get it. It's frustrating. We're all good. I will see you guys tomorrow if I can get this done. If not, the following day once it's done, because eventually it's going to get done. I might have to rebuild the caliper. I'm not sure. Either way, peace out, and remember, you create your own story. Bang!